Hey, welcome to your Leo horoscope for the week of August 20th through the 26th. Yes, Venus is still retrograde. Just a couple of more weeks and we will be out of that mess, which is good. However, Leo season is officially over this week as the sun moves into Virgo officially on Wednesday, right about the time that Mercury goes retrograde, not in Leo, which is good, in Virgo. Still, Mercury retrogrades are what they are, a great big giant pain that causes confusion and delay and all kinds of just problems. We're in the shadow period. I've already seen like a lot of those potential problems and what they're gonna look like, and it's really not attractive. I will not lie. It has not been a pleasant experience so far. And we are looking at the next 4 weeks of that unpleasant experience. So that's not the good news, unfortunately. I do have there is a few challenges outside of the challenges that you already have, and the sun leaving your sign actually is going to create a pretty big challenge as it moves into, literally because of where the moon is situated, it almost moves into a fixed grand cross for a minute, which is very, very difficult. Unfortunately, that's one of the most difficult aspects you can get that causes a whole lot of problems. And this is all happening right as Mercury is turning retrograde. So the issue here is that actually, I'm sorry, not a fixed grand cross, it's a mutable grand cross. This is not the sun lining up with planets and other fixed signs like Leo. This is the sun moving into various different aspects with different planets that are in mutable signs. It's just you're feeling it as it's on its way out. And the moon kind of comes in to really amplify this problem, all when Mercury is going retrograde. So these first couple of days, Wednesday and Thursday specifically, are going to be a little bit hectic and crazy as you're sort of picking up on this energy as it's leaving your sign, if that makes sense. We also will continue to have a square between Venus, which is in your sign, and Jupiter. Venus's position is actually pretty interesting this week because its focus is on long-term career goals. So it's literally positioned in between long-term goals and your career, sort of combining those two things together, if that makes sense. And Jupiter is focused on relationships. Now, we can actually take this a couple of different ways. One, we can say that the challenges that are in my relationships are the reason why I can't focus on my career goals. Okay. Or we can say it in a different way. It will, or I should say, it may play out in a different way, which is that your career goals and the discussion of those goals with somebody that's close to you may not go over very well, if that makes sense. So in some cases, I can see this playing out for you Leos as ultimatums. Don't do that job, or we're done kind of a thing, when this is your dream job that you've always wanted to do. I know that's kind of a really extreme example, but it's still happening out there. And it happens for various different reasons. We can't always look at them as all bad. So it can play out in that way. It can also play out in the way of having a lot of distractions from the people around you. So this isn't really just family. Your relationships it literally can be issues with a lot of different relationships around you. Distractions from those relationships. Oddly enough, today, as I'm recording this, I am literally going through that right now, with some family emergency issues that have been kind of sort of off and on going on for the past few days. So it looks like it's wrapping itself up today. and it's been a big distraction actually all day long. And I think that what is frustrating about this is that it all stems from the same thing. And that is that when we take that next step towards our career goals, it's a very scary step. And somehow inadvertently, we are looking for the one thing that's going to distract us in some way that we can blame on not moving forward. And we don't want to do that. And the universe will, like, okay, if that's what you want, we're going to present you with all of the different options. Here's a buffet, if you will, of different things that will distract you. So you can sit back and go, well, I would have done it if it wasn't for so and so, right? That's a challenge. That's a challenge that every single one of us has. And I think that Venus is really amplifying this as being a problem because it's showing us how by doing that, we're continuing to stifle our own creativity. We're continuing to stifle our own success, and we're continuing to stifle our own growth in some way. So it plays out in a very hard lesson. But if you learn the lesson, you don't necessarily have to repeat the pattern either. That's the good part. To help you out just a little bit, because I know you guys need it, to help you out just a little bit, when we get to about Thursday, the moon moves into a trine with Venus. And these two very emotional planets are actually working together because, oddly enough, they're both on cusps of focuses too. As the moon's focus is very much on who you are and who you were in the past, and Venus's focus continues to be on your long-term goals. This information of who you are and who you were is very valuable information. And this it's almost like somebody pops up and reminds you who you are, who you were, who you set out to be. I can't think of how many times it has actually played out in some weird way in my life, that reminder of, this is not the direction we planned on going, and we better kick ourselves in gear to be moving in the right direction, because anything else is just a waste of time. So challenging, yes. And the challenge is coming to an end. It will end, I promise. We just have a couple of more weeks of this Venus retrograde, and hopefully things will calm down a little bit. Actually, they will calm down, because once Venus moves out of your sign, you don't have any of this craziness going on for a while unless the moon comes in. So just hang in there for a couple of more weeks, Leos. And that's what I have for you. Totally badass, awesome Leo people. If you love your horoscopes, do click the link in the description and send me a coffee. If you are just listening and not viewing, that's ko-fi/heavy metal psychic. Also go check out the website heavymetalpsychic.com. Become a member, because the only way you're going to know the cool stuff that's coming up is if you are a member. And that's it. That's all I have for you guys. I have total faith that you guys are going to kill it no matter what, and no matter how difficult it is. You're Leos. You were born to succeed, period. That's literally why you're here. Even if it is a challenge for you, it is still literally why you are here. So you have no choice but to be badass, period. You guys have a great week, and I will see you guys next week.